Everyone, Lilith here. Welcome to another competitive Pokemon video. In this video, I will be putting together a viability ranking for GSC Subzero Used, as well as explaining how the metagame works. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but things kept coming up, and there's likely to be a tier shift soon that results in more Pokemon dropping. So I think now's a good time to make it so that there's some resources on this version of the metagame since there isn't an official VR. Now, the first thing I need to mention is that recently Baton Pass was banned. That means Ladybug and Spinarak, which were previously viable, are completely unusable now. Another Pokemon really hurt by this is Krabby. Now, Krabby was a good Agilipass recipient because of its high attack stat and access to Sword Stance. However, without the ability to receive agility boosts, it's too slow and its special bulk is pathetic, so it's just really not that good. Goldeen is generally the better choice for a physical attacking water type. Furthermore, I guess we can fill out the trash tier later. Let's talk about the best Pokemon in the tier, Snubbull. Snubbull has a lot going for it. First off, its stats are just good, okay? Like, that's always a plus. It also has the advantage of Curse plus normal stab, which is very strong in a tier with only 2 normal resists, Kabuto and Larvitar. And it has options to hit them. It can run Hidden Power Grass. Like, you're pretty much always running Curse, Return of Frustration, Rest. However, you can run Sleep Talk. You can run Lovely Kiss. That's really threatening. Hidden Power Ground to hit the rock types. You also can forgo Curse. There's a fun set I like, which is Rest, Sleep Talk, Return, and Heal Bell. And you just run it alongside a lot of Rest Pokemon. It's typically a slower paced team, although that does struggle against Snubbull's with Curse. So you'll typically want to have like a Larvitar on the team to counter that. But yeah, Snubbull defines the metagame. It's not mandatory, but it's still a really incredible Pokemon. Simply put, there just aren't many options to deal with it. Few normal resists, a few phasers. It's just really difficult to stop a Curse plus Return set with a high attack stat and same type attack bonus. Now, another Pokemon that I think is S tier is Nidorino. One of the few ways remaining to play around Snubbull is to have a special attacker attack it, because Curse doesn't boost its special defense. Its special bulk isn't amazing. So you can do like a good chunk of its health. So if you basically lose and it's at low health, you can threaten it out with a strong special attacker. Nidorino has Bolt Beam coverage. However, it doesn't have to be a special attacker. It has Lovely Kiss for utility, but it can also be a Curse Sweeper. And it's a really threatening one because it has better special bulk than Snubbull. And it has Ice Beam as an option, Ice Beam with Thunder as an option. Each one hits one of the rock types, or Double Kick is an option that allows you to beat Snubbull pretty consistently, as well as break past the rock types. It also has Morning Sun, which is reliable recovery and means it has an extra move slot from not running Rest plus Sleep Talk. And finally, it has the option to run Thief, which removes the target's leftovers. It's also just has like the best stats in the tier, at least close to that. So it's just an all-around really solid, really versatile Pokemon. Now, I mentioned special attackers to threaten these. Now, the best of these, I would say, is Mareep. Mareep has base 65 special and stab thunder. That makes it the that is the second strongest special attack in the tier after Growlithe Fire Blast, and Growlithe typically runs Flamethrower because Fire Blast only has 8 PP. So Mareep's set is pretty straightforward. Thunder, Hidden Power Ice, or sometimes Hidden Power Grass Sleep Talk. But it works, and it's very threatening to not just Snubble, but to water types. Obviously, it does struggle a bit with basically every ground type because its hidden power ice isn't actually as strong as it feels like it should be. So Pokemon like Larvitar and Fampi can actually switch in and they threaten a 1-hit KO with Earthquake. It's also not especially bulky, so it is scary to switch into a Curse Sweeper that's already begun boosting. So it's typically served as a revenge killer. But yeah. I've also mentioned another special attacker, Growlithe. Growlithe has a higher base special attack than Mareep. It can run Fire Blast and become the strongest special attacker in the tier, but typically I would run Flamethrower, Crunch, Rest, Sleep Talk. You can substitute out Crunch for Hidden Power Electric or Grass to hit water types a bit harder. However, one of the main water types is Slowpoke, which is hit harder by Crunch anyway. And also, Hidden Power in Gen 2 does often take a pretty big chunk out of your IVs. Like, it's not like where you just lose 1 point in a few stats like in Gens 3 through 6. Now, with Growlithe ranked, I feel like I should mention the other fire types. Charmander is interesting. It has options for physical attacking. It has Rock Slide. It has both Sword Stance and Belly Drum. So that gives it some merit. And I'd say it's like B1 ranked, maybe B2. I'll put it in B2 for now. Cyndaquil and Vulpix suck. They're not good. I'll put them in C rank. But like all they have going for them is being slightly faster than Growlithe, but they're weaker and they don't really have great move sets. I mean, they have quick attack, but like, so what? I mean, Vulpix has Confuse Ray and Hypnosis, but those are really unreliable. Plus, Hypnosis isn't that great because like everything has Sleep Talk. Like, this is one of the most Rest Talk heavy GSC tiers. Okay. Now, so that's the fire types settled. Let's talk about water types. Now, there are 2 water types that I would consider really good. Seal and Slowpoke. These are your main special walls. They lose to Mareep, and Slowpoke also hates Growlithe Crunch, but they're pretty good against most special attackers. They're also just very bulky overall, especially Slowpoke. Slowpoke is pretty versatile. Like Seal, the clear optimal set is Surf, Body Slam, Rest, Sleep Talk. Slowpoke has more variety. It has Psychic, it has Thunder Wave. It typically will run Rest, sometimes Rest Talk, sometimes like Surf, Psychic, Thunder Wave, Rest. There is also the option of running Curse on either of these because they have good special bulk, especially Seal. However, it doesn't work as well as you'd think because of, well, 1, Mareep, and 2, because they lose to Snubble. Unless they're also running a special attack, which having Curse plus a special attack is pretty good because you can boost up alongside Snubble and then threaten it with a special attack. However, you also aren't boosting your special attacks, so like it doesn't work as well as you'd like. Horsey is a water type that's more in the vein of Mareep and Growlithe than in Seal and Slowpoke. It's an offensive threat. It has really high special attack. I think actually its Hydro Pump is tied for as powerful as Growlithe Fire Blast. Like it has base 70 special attack, base 60 speed, and water and ice coverage as well as hidden power electric. It's really strong. The problem is it's very frail. Like its HP is bad, its defense is pretty good, but counteracted by the low HP, and its special defense is also really bad. It does have one interesting option, which is Haze. However, the problem with Haze is that like you remove the coast boost, but you still have to tank the attack, and Horsey is not bulky. One Pokemon that is bulky and has Haze is Squirtle. That's basically all it has going for it, though. It's pretty much just a worse version of Seal. Let's see. And as for other water types, Remoraid is trash. Meryl is fine, I guess. It has Perish Song, which is its claim to fame. It's also fairly bulky. So I think it's like, Meryl's fine. It's not like good though. Goldeen is cool. Goldeen has Swords Dance and Agility, and I would consider it the best Swords Dance user in the tier. Not that that's saying a whole lot. I mean, it does also have competition with the grass types, but really, its speed tier is really good, base 63, and Swords Dance is very threatening. Especially since, like, Swords Dance plus Return, like, you'd want to use a rock type to switch into that. You can't do that because Surf. So, overall, Goldeen is a very threatening Pokemon. It is a bit fragile, though. However, I mean, it's not as fragile as Krabby, and the speed tier is really good. So I think it more than makes up for that. Okay. And let's see, what other water types? Psyduck is trash. Hang on, let me alphabetize the trash tier. Wait, okay, there. You know what? I'll just fill in more Pokemon that are complete trash. Wobbuffet, garbage. Bellsprout, garbage. Togepi, garbage. I think that's Venonat is another Baton Passmon. So yeah. I think that's everything that's not at least interesting to talk about. Okay, let's see. And I missed Sheldo. Sheldo, I believe, is the only Pokemon in the tier with Explosion, which gives it a niche. It's not much. Sheldo is very specially fragile. It's pretty slow. It's like, I'll put it at top of C tier. Hang on, wait. Bulbasaur is a worse version of Oddish. Like, the only thing Bulbasaur has over Oddish is, I guess, Body Slam. But, like, who cares? It's not like you were running that on it anyway. I mean, you weren't running it on Oddish if you're... Never mind. Oh, Ditto is also garbage. Okay, there. Now let's talk about the rock types. There are 2 rock types, and they are very helpful because they can handle Snubble, and very few Pokemon can handle Snubble. I will put... Kabuto has... Its moveset is just weird. Like, its only rock move is Ancient Power, and then it has, like... And its attack is higher than its special attack. It has, like, a good special moveset with Surf, Ice Beam, Giga Drain, but its physical moveset is just like Ancient Power and Return. It's really weird. However, Kabuto makes up for that. Well, it has the utility of Thief. It also is just has the best physical bulk in the tier and resists normal. With Snubble being so dominant, that's amazing. It also is good into Growlithe. It's good into Rattata well, I guess Rattata will run Thunder. It's good into Spearow. That doesn't run Thunder. Uh, yeah. And like, it doesn't sound like I'm saying a lot of Pokemon it's good into, but the ones it is are very important, especially Snubble. Larvitar, um, you're typically running Curse, Rest, and then 2 of Sleep Talk, Earthquake, Rock Slide. It's decent. Its stats are worse than Kabuto, but its moveset is better. It has an unresisted stab combination. Uh, it can run Curse much more effectively than Kabuto because it has an actual physical move pool, and that makes it better at 1v1ing Snubble. It also can handle Moogie pretty well. Like it doesn't take that much from Hidden Power Ice, and Earthquake is outright a one-hit KO. It can switch into Growlithe pretty comfortably. It's overall just like a good. It switches into Spearow completely for free. It's just a pretty solid Pokemon overall. I think it's better than Kabuto. Actually, I think both of the rock types are better than Horsey. Natu is interesting. It has 70 base special attack, 70 base speed. That is amazing. And it has Stab Psychic, it has Thief. However, and then it has like Giga Drain and Hidden Power. It's decent. I keep saying decent. I need to, like, I don't know, thesaurusify my vocabulary for these videos, I guess. Um, let's see. Larvitar's, no, sorry, not Larvitar. Natu is a solid, just special attacker that's pretty fragile. Like, it doesn't last that long. However, it is good at, like basically, imagine you have a Snubble that's set up a bunch of curses and it's at pretty high health. Any of your special attackers are going to die if they don't get a crit. Natu is good because you hit Snubble into KO range of a more long-lived special attacker like Mareep or Growlithe, or even Seal, and then you give up Natu, but you revenge kill the Snubble afterwards. Or it rests and then it's asleep and more vulnerable. So it has that going for it. It also has Nightmare, which is a fun move to punish Rest Talk Pokemon. So yeah, I'm kind of just stream of consciousnessing this. But yeah, Natu's fun. You never want it to be your only special attacker. I mean, in general, you want 2 or 3 special attackers, but with Natu, you especially want more than just it. However, it is very good. It's also good against Nidorino because it has Stab Psychic. It's good against Curse Nidorino, I mean. It does hit Nidorino pretty hard. I don't think it's a one-hit KO, and if it's a special attacking Nidorino, you get Thundered, and that sucks. Or Ice Beamed. So I'm going to put it at the top of A2. And let's see. There is one more Pokemon I think that belongs in A1, and it's actually Jigglypuff. I am a big Jigglypuff fan. A lot of people aren't as high on Jigglypuff as I am, but I like it. So if you don't know how Present works in Gen 2, it has a bugged damage formula where the damage depends on the secondary type of the attacker and the defender. And what that ends up meaning is that if you are basically every type in the game has an index number. The physical types are pretty low, so it's like 0, 1, 2 for like normal fighting flying. And then they're like 20 to 31 range for the special attacking types, which is grass, fire, water, psychic, electric, ice, dark, and dragon. And it's the secondary type. So the primary type becomes the defense stat in the damage calculation, and the secondary type of the attacker is the defense stat. The secondary type of the target is the level, and then uh, I believe the attack is like always 5 or always 10 or something. I don't remember exactly. I think or like it's sometimes 10 and sometimes 5. I don't remember. But the point is, if you are a normal type and you use present on a Pokemon like a fire type, a water psychic type, and an electric type, it's going to do a ton of damage, especially if it rolls 80 or 120 base power. Jigglypuff has the best special bulk of any Pokemon with access to present. It also, not only does being a normal type mean that it uh, gives the target the lowest defense, it also means it has stab. So Jigglypuff's present is threatening like to one hit KO Pokemon like Mareep and Growlithe, which is amazing. Granted, you need a good damage roll to do it because of the variable base power. Present is very unreliable. However, that's not all it has going for it. It has Thunder Wave, it has Counter, it has so many utility options. And uh like not only does it have counter, it has 115 base HP and like 20 base defense counter. It take counter hits so hard if you catch someone off guard with it. Uh let's see. It can also work as a curse sweeper. It's not as strong as Snubble, but it has still has normal stab, and it has the best special bulk of any normal type in the tier. I think maybe Togepi's is better, but Togepi is also just trash, so who cares? Just overall, a very solid Pokemon that I think is uh, very underrated. Okay. Where? Let's talk about the wall breakers. Rattata and Spearow are two of the fastest Pokemon in the tier, and they have normal stab and decent attack stats. Rattata is typically better because it has Thunder to break through bulkier Pokemon who are weak to it, like Kabuto or Seal or Slowpoke. It also has Super Fang, which is just an all-around good wall breaking tool, and it's also has base 72 speed rather than 70, which means while Spearow ties Pokemon like Natu and Butterfree, Rattata outspeeds them. So Rattata, I think, is a solid A2 Pokemon. Spearow, however, I think is another Pokemon that's really underrated. Like, it's not even ranked as SU, and I think that's really sad because it hits so hard with Stab Double Edge and Stab Drill Peck. Like, it is hard to switch into unless you're a rock type. But not every team has a rock type, and the ones that do often have ways you'll often have ways to play around it. Especially if you're using Spearow, you're gonna want to run something like a Chikorita or like a Seal, just a Horsey, something that can break through the rock types effectively for it. Maybe like a Goldeen that has Surf because they might switch in expecting you to not have Surf and then oops, you do have Surf. Or you can run Hidden Power Grass on Spearow to catch them off guard. Like, there are options to play around its weaknesses, and it is an offensive powerhouse. So I think it's like below Goldeen in B1. Now, I just mentioned Chikorita. Let's talk about grass types. There are 3 grass types with that are like usable at all. One of them is Skiploom, which is really only usable because it's fast and has neat utility, but like Encore and Leech Seed, it's like barely worth ranking. Uh, Chikorita and Oddish, though, are both have good mix bulk, Swords Dance, Razor Leaf, which while it's not physical, it has a 1 in 4 shot to get a critical hit in Gen 2. And yeah, these are physical attack of all the physical attackers, these are the hardest for Larvitar and Kabuto to switch into because Razor Leaf. In fact, it's basically just impossible for them to switch into it, either of these. So it's actually pretty tricky to play around them. Like, you have to rely on Pokemon like with super effective coverage. Granted, there's a lot. Growlithe is super effective against both of them. Horsey with Ice Beam, Nidorino with Ice Beam, uh, Natu with Psychic is good for the Oddish. For Oddish, it doesn't work against Chikorita. I consider Chikorita better. The lack of a poison type. So basically, Chikorita runs Body Slam as its physical attack, and Oddish will run Sludge Bomb. Like it's just like their set is like Swords Dancer, Curse, Synthesis, Razor Leaf, Physical Move. Oddish is stronger because it has same type attack bonus. Chikorita, however, threatens Paralysis with Body Slam, which is more valuable than threatening Poison with Sludge Bomb. And it's bulkier, but most importantly, not having a poison typing means it's not weak to Psychic and it resists ground. That means it switches in much more comfortably against Larvitar. It can switch in against Natu and Slowpoke, which Oddish can't. It's just it actually switches into to Snubble pretty well. Chikorita can also run Reflect, which is Reflect or Light Screen. Reflect is good for 1v1ing Snubble. Light Screen is good for enabling your own Snubble to start a Curse Sweep or just setting up a Curse Sweep yourself. Chikorita, I think, is a dominant Pokemon. I'm gonna rank it between Larvitar and Kabuto. Oddish is good too. It's not as good because the secondary poison type does more harm than good, and it's slower. They have similar bulk. Oddish is also has a stronger Razor Leaf, but I just think the typing difference is too big to overcome. So Oddish is above Goldeen. Okay. Not too many Pokemon left. I think I'll save the ground types for the end because I have a lot to say about ground types. Let's talk about Ekans. Ekans used to be a really solid Curse Sweeper. Now, it really got power crept out with the recent drops. There were more, it was good because there weren't when it was good, there weren't any Psychic types. There wasn't Butterfree. There wasn't Nidorino, which is just kind of better. Ekans, it was considered SU for a while. Now, the only thing it really has going for it is Haze and Glare. But I don't think that's enough. Hang on. I'm going to move Vulpix down to complete trash and put Ekans where Vulpix was. Wait, actually, no. Cyndaquil goes to complete trash. Vulpix at least has more moveset options. Cyndaquil is completely outclassed by Charmander, who's just the same thing with a better move pool, with the exception of Cyndaquil having quick attack. But they have the exact same base stats, and Charmander has an amazing move pool, and Cyndaquil has fire moves, hidden power, and normal moves. So, yeah. So now we've got the fighting types, the bug flying types, and the ground types. The bug flying types are pretty interesting. We'll go over those. Yanma is the fastest Pokemon in the tier. With base 95. Second is base 80, which is Skiploom and Magikarp. And then from there it's Rattata. And then the base 70s, which base 70 is a fairly crowded speed tier. Base 60 is also pretty crowded. But anyway, Yanma's speed is good. It has Thief. Its stats are just insanely good. It's one of the only fully evolved Pokemon in the tier. The problem is its move pool is horrible. However, because it's fast and because it has just enough going for it with Thief, and Hidden Power Electric is a nice option. Wing Attack is not terrible. I think it has just enough to be below Charmander. It's the worst Pokemon that I would still consider part of the tier proper. Butterfree, however, is really good. Sleep Powder and Stun Spore are awesome. Psychic, off of base 80 special attack, while it lacks stab, meaning it's not as strong as other special attackers, it is pretty strong. It's a good revenge killer. Uh, it has Nightmare, which is a fun move to punish Rest Talk. It's also just synergizes well with Sleep Powder. If you don't know what Nightmare is, because it's basically never relevant in like any other tier, Nightmare, as you use it, and the opponent will lose. It's like Ghost type Curse, but you don't lose health using it. However, it only works on a sleeping target. And it's actually really good because like it activates at the on Butterfree or Natu, they're fast. So if the target's already asleep, it activates after they attack, and since you're faster, that means it's a guaranteed 25% on anything that's asleep. And a lot of Pokemon are asleep because Rest Talk is everywhere. And also in the case of Butterfree, because you have Sleep Powder. So overall, Butterfree's really good. I'll put it between Goldeen and Spearow, I think. Okay. Fighting types. So, fighting types. So Mankey is a wall breaker. It has the very nice base 70 speed tier, and it's just runs Cross Chop, either Rock Slide or Thunder, and Rest Talk. Yeah, I know. Even a Pokemon this frail is running Rest Talk in this tier. Now, Cross Chop is a 1 in 4 chance to crit, although really it's 1 in 5 because you miss a bunch because it's 80% accuracy. But that's besides the point. That means it's a physical attacker that is actually pretty threatening to Snubble. And that's nice. That's really nice. Because, I mean, threatening Snubble is hard, and if you go too heavy on the special attackers, which you often want to do if your team is pretty Snubble weak, if you can't fit a normal resist because there are only 2 of them and they both are pretty exploitable, then you can, if you stack too many special attackers, it can be pretty easy to play around them with just generally bulky Pokemon like Seal, who will switch into Growlithe, and then you go Mareep, but then they send in their own Mareep because Mareep is pretty bulky, or they send in like a bulky ground type like Fampi, and then you go to your Seal or your Horsey for that, and then they go to their Seal or their Slowpoke. It's just it's very easy to just switch around special attackers, whereas Mankey, with the combination of Cross Chop and Thunder, it can attack physically and specially, has unresisted coverage, and it's just genuinely really hard to switch in. Mankey's coverage isn't resisted. Oddish resists it, and Chikorita doesn't resist it, but it's bulky enough to withstand the Cross Chop. Yeah. But Nidorino also can switch in, but Mankey is harder to switch into than the special attackers. The problem is Snubble can sometimes call your bluff and just stay in, and then you miss Cross Chop, or if it has enough defense boost, you don't get the crit, and then bye-bye Mankey. However, Snubble also, if it's at full health, is more scared of Mankey than a special attacker, because if Snubble tanks Mareep Thunder, for example, from full health, it's fine. If it takes a Cross Chop from Mankey, especially if that gets a crit, and it's more likely to get a crit than the said Mareep Thunder, bye-bye Snubble, and that sucks. So overall, I'm going to put Mankey between Rattata and Horsey. Machop is a slower, bulkier version of that. It doesn't have Thunder. It does have Fire Blast, which is nice. It's main advantage over Mankey, aside from being bulkier, is that it can threaten the grass types. However, while it can threaten the grass types, it is hard-walled by Seal and Slowpoke. Which is worse. Because, like, I'd say like half of teams have a grass type. Basically, every team has a water type, and a lot of teams double up. What Machop can do is run a Curse set, because Curse plus Cross Chop is Snubble's worst nightmare. However, its low special bulk and weakness to Psychic means that it's not as good as a Curse Sweeper as Pokemon who don't have a special weakness. Like, Snubble doesn't have a special weakness. Chikorita does, but they're not... yeah, okay, Chikorita does. Come to think of it, a lot of Curse Sweepers have special weaknesses. I mean, I guess this is just why Snubble is the best. Machop, I think, is top of B2. Now for the ground types. I think I should talk about Diglett first, because Diglett ties Yanma for the fastest Pokemon in the tier. It has Thief, it has Earthquake. It's basically just the physical counterpart to Yanma. It has a better move pool than Yanma and worse bulk. Overall, I would consider Diglett better than Yanma. Not better than Oddish. Yeah, there. That's good. Okay. Now let's talk about these three Pokemon. Because these three Pokemon have pretty much the same claim to fame, which is they switch into Mareep safely. Basically, nothing does. Larvitar and like Chikorita are kind of iffy. Like, they can tank the Hidden Power Ice, but they don't like it. Swinub and Wooper are neutral to Hidden Power Ice while immune to Thunder. Phanpy is also Mareep switches into Mareep pretty well, but you kind of like Mareep is so good. In fact, I think I'm gonna move Mareep up to S tier. It's like that good. Well, like switching into Mareep is really, really hard. So a lot of teams will rely on either a shaky check that just doesn't have the longevity to keep switching in, or has other Pokemon it needs to check, such as Chikorita or Larvitar, or you're just relying on your own Mareep as a check. These three can switch in repeatedly because, again, these two are neutral to Hidden Power Ice. Phanpy has an insane HP stat. And all three of them threaten it with Earthquake. Let's start with Phanpy, who's the best of these three. Phanpy has another really good option. Its physical bulk is insane. 90 HP, 60 defense is amazing. And it also has Roar. It's one of very few phasers, and really the only phaser with the bulk to actually back it up. And that's very valuable, meaning it's basically the only Pokemon that is an answer to both Snubble and Mareep. It is also a good answer to Nidorino that don't have Ice Beam, but Nidorino usually has Ice Beam. It's pretty good into Growlithe too. It's bad against the grass types and the water types, but it's good into like everything else. It's good into Rattata, it's good into Mankey. This thing is really good. It does have a few major flaws. First, it has kind of 4 move slot syndrome. Like, you're often running like Earthquake, Roar, Rest, Sleep Talk, and that renders you helpless against the flying types. Granted, the flying types are not especially prevalent, but still being completely useless against them sucks. You can run Ancient Power, and I've had a Ancient Power get an Omni Boost and just win me games. However, Ancient Power only has 8 PP. It's pretty weak. Like, it hits the flying types decently hard, but like not much else. It's very comfortable to switch into. And you're either dropping Sleep Talk, which if you drop Sleep Talk, you lose your ability to check basically everything, or you're dropping Roar, which renders you vulnerable to getting worn down by physical attackers. So it has 4 move slot syndrome. That's its main flaw. Really, that's its only flaw. However, it is pretty big. And also the fact that there are a lot of water and grass types that are good against it. So I'm gonna put Fampi like here. Well, actually, you know what? Hot take, it's better than Larvitar. And you know what? Chicory is better than both of them. We'll do this for A2. A2 is kind of crowded though. Huh. You know what? Horsey, I think I can drop down. Okay. Now we've got these two. Swinub and Woopo. They have the exact same niche, which is electric immunity plus neutral to ice, meaning they switch into Mareep safely, threaten it out with Earthquake, and they have a terrible matchup against every Pokemon not named Mareep. Well, okay. Every Pokemon that isn't Bolt Beam coverage, so they're good against some Nidorinos as well. But, like, I mean, Woobu's only weak to grass, however, its stats are just terrible. However, the Mareep matchup, I do think, is valuable enough. It does have one other thing, which is Belly Drum, but its stats are really way too low to make good use of that. Like, if you want to run Belly Drum, Charmander is actually fast, and, I mean, yeah, like, you Belly Drum, and then you get outsped and KO'd because you have no speed and no bulk. So, really, it's just a defensive check to one of the top Pokemon, and that's it. So I'll put it above Vulpix, but I'll put it above Ekans, not above Skiploom, though. Swinub has a bit more promise because Earthquake plus Ice Beam is actually a very threatening stab combination. It has decent speed at base 50, like it outruns Mareep, which it's the only ground type that outruns Mareep, actually, other than Diglett, but I mean, Diglett can't switch it. I mean, not only can Diglett not switch into Mareep, Diglett can't switch into anything. That thing is made of paper mache. Um, and yeah, Swinub, gosh. Top of C or bottom of B2 is the thing. Because it's a matchup fish, is something I have to acknowledge. Wait, why can't I remove this? Okay. But Mareep is on a lot of teams, and it's not helpless against teams without Mareep the way Wooper is. But it's also not good against them the way Fampi and Larvitar are. So I'm gonna say top of C tier. And yeah, I think that's my main. I think this is a good VR. Uh, so this is so we'll have to see how the upcoming shifts affect this. I hopefully will feel up to making a follow-up video examining the shifts. Maybe I'll bring Spice back on. I mean, I'd have to ask him, but we did that with ADV a few years ago. Who knows? See you in the next video. Bye.